Okay, we're going to be using or in a very specific way in this class. We're going to be using the word or in a specific way. And it's a bit different than how you might intuitively think it's used. It's going to come up on the exam, so let's make sure that we've got this down. Here's an argument. Either Scott sees blue or the sky is blue. Scott sees blue, so the sky is not blue. And it's got this form, P or Q, or is an operator here, P, so it's not the case that Q. And so sometimes people think, oh, well, it's one or the other, it's not this one, or it's one or the other, it's this one, so it's not this one. And that's not how we're going to be using or. The way we're going to be using or in this class is P or Q is going to be true if just P is true by itself. If just P is true by itself, that's enough to make the whole thing, P or Q, true. If just Q is true by itself, then that's enough to make the whole thing true. And if both are true, if both P and Q are true, then that's enough to make the whole thing true. The only situation in which P or Q is not going to be true is if neither of them are true. So if just this one's true, then P or Q is true. If just this one's true, then P or Q is true. If this one and this one, if they're both true, then the whole thing's true. The whole thing's going to be false only when both are false, when neither P nor Q are true. And so given that understanding of or, we can see why this argument's not valid. And again, we can tell a story where 1 and 2 are true, but 3 is false. And here's the story. Imagine that I see blue, and the reason I see blue is because I'm looking at the sky. Well, in that case, it's true that I see blue. But it's true that either I see blue or the sky is blue, because both of them are true, and that's enough to make it true. Both of them are true, and that's enough to make 2 true. But the sky is blue. The whole reason I'm seeing blue is that the sky is blue. So 3 is false. So it's not valid. Now let's look at a valid argument that does have or in it. Either Scott sees blue or the sky is blue. Scott does not see blue, or it's not the case that Scott sees blue, so the sky is blue. And we perform our method and find the form of the argument. Our 2 basic statements are Scott sees blue and the sky is blue. Our operators are or and not. Take every spot where Scott sees blue and replace it with P, here and here. Every spot where the sky is blue and replace it with Q, here and here. So that gives us P or Q. It's not the case that P, so Q, it's valid. And a way to see that it's valid is, remember we said P or Q is true when all of them are true or when just one of them is true. So if P is not true, then it can't be true because all of them are true, and it can't be true because P is true. The only way this thing's going to be true is if Q is true. So if either Scott sees blue or the sky is blue, and I'm not seeing blue, then the sky's got to be blue. Always valid.